Leading our coverage this afternoon is our senior correspondent, John Huddy. Let's get out to the ground live from southern Israel, Ashkelon, with the very latest there this evening. John?
Yeah, Bianca, actually, when you're speaking of the weapons, we saw many of the weapons, or not many, I should say a quarter of the weapons that have been captured thus far. This was last week by the IDF from Hamas terrorists. They were RPGs, North Korean RPGs, Soviet-era RPGs, and Iranian mortars as well. This, as the IDF continues to hammer, to pound Hamas targets in the Gaza Strip. We've been hearing some of the explosions, the artillery fire, the airstrikes in the distance. And earlier today, myself, Daniel Cohen, other members of the media were invited to a military base outside Tel Aviv to see what was titled the Hamas Massacre raw footage. And what it was, Bianca, was 43 minutes of raw footage from Hamas terrorist body cams, CCTV, so surveillance video from inside some of those communities like Niraz, Be'eri, where we went last week, seeing the aftermath. Well, we saw the actual attacks by Hamas terrorists on civilians, dash cam video from the vehicles, and also some of the victims and survivors' cell phone video. Just a snippet, just a glimpse of the several hours at this point of video, of footage that the IDF has captured and has rounded up, showing these horrific terror attacks, and they are absolutely horrific. I'm not going to get into too much graphic detail, but in one of the more disturbing moments, you see a father carrying his two young children into a bomb shelter as the attack happened early in the morning in one of the communities. He goes into the shelter, and a Hamas terrorist throws a grenade in there, killing the father, as the two young sons, badly injured, bloody, are calling Abba, Abba, Daddy, Daddy. There are other scenes of mutilated bodies, burned bodies, beheaded soldiers, burned babies. The list goes on, and I apologize. I know it's incredibly graphic, but people should understand this, and that is why the IDF said that it spent several days determining and weighing whether or not to release the footage and show the media the footage. We weren't allowed to take cell phones in. The IDF released a portion to the public for broadcast, but we sat in silence, about 200 of us, maybe a little bit less. At some points, people were crying. People had to get up and leave. Others were covering their face. Some of the scenes were unbearable to watch. IDF spokesperson Daniel Hagari said that in releasing the footage to the media, he said that, quote, we want the world to see. We will not let the world forget why we are fighting. Major General Mickey Edelstein and Admiral Hagari talked about Hamas's ideology, the indoctrination of these terrorists to operate under orders to execute, to mutilate, to kill men, women, and children, and that is what they did. The IDF, Bianca, has been clear about its goal, and that is to destroy Hamas. But I asked Major General Edelstein about destroying Hamas's ideology, if that's even possible. He said it's a hard question to answer. It's talking about the future. He didn't go into the operational strategy because he said it's going to take a long time. But he talked about the footage and what he thinks the world should take away from it. Listen.
If you fight for humanity, if you're looking for humanity, you must stand with Israel. If you fight for humanity, if you're looking for humanity, you must stand with Israel.
So if you believe in humanity, you must stand with Israel. That was his message. This is the IDF carried out in a 24-hour period Sunday, attacks on more than 320 Hamas targets in Gaza. We're talking about rocket launch sites. We're talking about operational command and control centers. We're talking about militants gearing up to fire at Israeli forces. And this is some 50,000 residents in northern Israel have been evacuated from the towns, the villages, the moshavs, thus far as the fighting continues to intensify in northern Israel on the border with Lebanon. Again, cross-border fire between the IDF and Hezbollah terrorists trying to fire on IDF forces with anti-tank missiles, with rockets, and with sniper fire as well. And we're hearing actually quite a bit of explosions in the distance here right now. Bianca.
All right, we know you'll keep you posted on that. And obviously, John, those images just etched in your memory as well. I can't even imagine. Thank you so much for that live update. We'll be checking back in with you throughout the night there.